So I just wanted to hop on here a little bit to talk to you guys about when you should start studying for the SATs. So COVID has been a thing for the last couple of years. So the SAT has kind of fallen to the wayside in terms of like the College Board not necessarily requiring students do it, and many colleges saying that they're not requiring it for like admission and stuff like that. But it does seem like it is making a comeback, and that colleges are probably going to start making students take it again, or at least they're going to be using it for scholarships and making sure that you have like kind of the scholarships that you need for it. So over here, my motto is success begins early. And really for me, that means that the longer you have to actually prepare for something, the more likely you are to be able to master it by the time that you need to have it mastered. So this can be applied to like all education, but especially to SAT as well, because the longer that you're able to study for the test, the better. But in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different tracks for studying for the SAT, depending on how much time you have. So the first track is if you have a year to study for the SAT, like you're a year before you have to take it, there's different things you can do. If you're on the average track, that's about 3 months before you have to take the SAT that you start studying for it. The fast track is about 1 month, and then the last minute track is you have a week until the test, and you have to figure it out and you have to study in a week. So let me talk about all of those and like what that really like looks like in terms of those things. So I wrote this in a blog post, so I'm referencing my blog post. So if you're on the long track, so it's like a year before you're taking the test, you may be in like, this is in the distant future. Like, I don't need to think about this. Like, why am I already like trying to prepare for this test? There's so many things that I'm going to like learn between now and then, and just normal school is going to help me. And that may be true, but if you're thinking about the test and actually preparing for the test, you're going to have a lot less anxiety surrounding the test. You're going to be able to become very, very, very familiar with the test. You're going to be able to take several practice tests, not even just a couple, to see what you need to work on, to see all the points. You're going to be able to kind of break down like every part of the test and look at everything. So you can find the best classes, you can take practice tests, you can read books that really are just going to make sure you're prepared for the test. Like a lot of my students who prepare like a year before, like they're able to finish their SATs before they go into senior year, and then they can just focus on college applications, or when the test comes around, like they're really prepared for the test, so they don't have like any anxiety surrounding it, and they know that they're going to do well. They kind of know where they stand on different things. So the year before is really great, but most people are not thinking about the SAT a year before you have to take the test. Usually about 3 months is kind of the average track for what you're thinking about when it comes to the SAT. So if you have about 3 months to prepare for the SAT and you want to get on the thing, you still do kind of the same things that you have on the yearly track, but you probably won't be able to take as many practice tests. You won't be able to see like how much you could improve like as much over the year, like, but you're still going to be able to get kind of all the concepts of the test. You're going to be able to become familiar with the test. You'll probably be able to take like at least 2 or 3 practice tests that are going to help you see all the different ways that the test kind of like works and stuff. And I found that like students usually with the second time they take the tests, they go down a little bit and then they go back up the third time. So taking those practice tests to be able to kind of see how you do on the test is important. So for this track, I have created a SAT class. So I have like 2. One of them is self-driven. So you're able to watch the videos and everything like on your own. I post videos weekly and activities weekly, and then you do the activities. You watch my videos explaining things and like break it down like kind of yourself. Whereas the other one is directed with me. So you're in like a group class with me and other students, and I'm actually like there for you to ask questions in person and to walk you through the problems in person. So those are two classes that I offer. I'll put the links for those down in the description so you can sign up for those classes if you're looking to study for the SAT and you have about 3 to 4 months. They're 16-week classes, so you'll be able to really get to know a lot of aspects of the test in those 3 months and be well prepared. Then there's kind of the fast track, which is about 1 month before. So if you're doing this track, like you may be able to take like the amount of practice tests that you'll take in the other ones, but there's not going to be as much time in between to actually like improve. So you're probably going to see pretty much the same grades across your practice tests, so you aren't going to be able to see like kind of how much improvements you've made. You're also going to have to put like more focus into actually studying like a month ahead of time. Like you're going to have to put more days towards studying during that month, whereas if you had like a year or 3 months, like maybe you're only studying like 1 hour a week. Whereas if you only have 1 month, like maybe you're studying like a good like 4 or 5 hours a week to actually get ready for this test on like the 1 month track. And that's really just like a fast track. Like if you only have 1 month before the test, like you're not going to probably be able to really understand all the aspects of the test. You're going to be speeding through practice tests more than likely. Like you'll get an idea of what the test is like, but you won't really have like an in-depth knowledge of it. And you're going to be spending much more of your time like actually preparing for it like during that month. And then the fourth one is the last minute track, which is the test is in a week and you have to figure out like how to do this test and like study for this test. So that week of your life is going to be like dedicated to that test. If you are working on this track, like if you have extracurriculars, etc., like you're probably going to need to skip them that week to prepare for this test if you are on this last minute track where you're going towards the test. You may be able to get in like one practice test and then like reviewing that practice test. You're probably not going to be able to get in like a lot of the exercises that you could have gotten on like some of the other tracks. So a week ahead of time, I don't suggest it. It's like very last minute, but if that's what you have, that's what you have, right? So at least get in a practice test that week. Review that practice test, review all aspects of it, see maybe where your weak points are and try to study like those concepts specifically. But it's going to be a lot of work in that 1 week to really prepare you for the test. And that may actually make you a little bit more anxious, like preparing like that late in the game, like to the end of it. So those are the 4 different tracks for when you should start studying for the SAT. So there's the long track, which is a year. There's the average track, which is about 3 months. The fast track, which is 1 month. And then the last minute track, which is 1 week. I obviously suggest longer rather than like longer times to study rather than like the shorter cram times. So I would want you to go with like the year-long track or the 3 month track for sure. Like both of those are going to make it so you can really kind of understand the test and know more about it and just kind of have less anxiety surrounding it as a whole. So those are when you should start studying for the SAT. And reminder that I have the link for my SAT classes in the description below. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.